Welcome inside a sold-out Mizzou Arena here in Columbia, where tonight the hometown Tigers get ready to take on old Big 12 rival Iowa State as we open up the 2017-18 campaign. Unbelievable crowd. It's the first sellout here in 4 years, and they are excited about Mizzou basketball once again. We're excited too. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Mike Morgan alongside. Hey, it's the coach, Jimmy Dykes. Welcome back, Jimmy. I know you're excited.
It is great to be back, and what an atmosphere to walk into on night one of college basketball season. And they're here to see Michael Porter Jr., and this is a guy that told me recently that he came to Missouri for 3 or 4 reasons. Number one, stay true to his family values. Very grounded young man. Stay true to his spiritual values. Make Missouri prominent again on the national level in college basketball, and eventually work his way in to be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. He's wired to do all those things. This kid's going to put a lot of points on the board throughout his Missouri career, whether how long or short that is. A real pleasure to watch this guy move on a basketball floor.
No doubt he is an elite talent, and with an elite talent comes elite crowds. And for more on that, here's Myron Metcalf.
Well, the guys behind me went to all the games last year when Missouri had only won 8 games. And they said it was nothing like this. The atmosphere was nothing like this. It was more subdued. This is what fans can expect when they come to Mizzou Arena this season to see Michael Porter Jr. And this is what opponents can expect to see when they come into this arena in 2017, 2018. It's a new day at Mizzou Arena.
Myron, no doubt about it. They believe they've got a heck of a squad and a new era with head coach Cuonzo Martin, who made his way back to the SEC, former Tennessee coach, former Cal coach, and hopes to take this ultra-talented Mizzou squad back to the promised land. It's been a while. As Myron mentioned, a very rough go of it the last couple of years, and a good way to start off the season against Iowa State, a team that has been no stranger to the NCAA tournament of late.
If there's a better opening night atmosphere in college basketball across the country, I don't know where it is. This place is lit.
Iowa State showing some patience. Shot clock down to 6. Drive taken, and the shot is blocked away by Jordan Barnett. There is Cuonzo Martin, who when we last saw him in the Southeastern Conference, he was leading Tennessee to the Sweet 16s. Spent the previous 3 years at California. He's a Missouri guy, born and raised in East St. Louis, about 2 hours away from the campus of Mizzou.
A natural fit, going to bring a lot of toughness and inner strength to this Missouri ball club. Iowa State starting off in that sticky man-to-man defense that they've been known for under Steve Prohm.
Ball comes inside, and there is another one of those highly touted freshmen, Jeremiah Tillman.
Micah, this kid's a hoss. He's all of 6'11" and 240. Has no wasted movement in his feet around the rim, and an anchor around the rim on both ends of the floor.
Wigginton, a highly touted freshman for Iowa State. He's off to Jackson, who's one of the best three-point shooters in the country. Shot 45% from downtown a year ago.
Iowa State has to have success driving the basketball in this game early.
Up top to Cassius Robertson, the transfer from Canisius. Back to Robertson on the wing for an open 3. And there's an offensive rebound and a stick back by Porter.
Yeah, they were relentless at times against Kansas in the exhibition game on the offensive glass. A lot of length. Porter is one of those kids who just has a knack to find the basketball. The ball finds energy, and he has energy.
Great take, but a little too much English on the layup for Donovan Jackson. Strong take the other way by Robertson. The Cyclones clear it off and running. It's Jackson to Smith. And tapped out of bounds by Missouri. Well, Iowa State, unlike Missouri the last few years, they have enjoyed tremendous success. Steve Prohm, 2 for 2 in terms of taking his team to the NCAA tournament. A great success at Murray State before that. An Alabama graduate who was a manager for the Crimson Tide, so he knows a thing or two about Southeastern Conference basketball.
Known as a really, really good offensive-minded coach. And his game plan tonight coming in is to spread that floor and try to drive Missouri. They've settled for jump shots the first couple of minutes, and that's not what he wants.
Well, one thing Coach Prohm, and talking with him this morning at shoot-around, Jimmy, he's very concerned about the size differential.
Well, the biggest guy Iowa State puts on the floor is 6'8". Missouri's got 6'10", 6'10", 6'11".
There's There's a travel by Wendell Wigginton, young man out of Oak Hill Academy, formerly of Canada, who's one of the most highly recruited freshmen in the history of the program at Ames.
Yeah, he can really explode to the rim. He's got a lot of juice, a little extra gear. Doesn't shoot it real well right now, but in terms of a body for a freshman guard, that's what you want him to look like.
They're going to need him. Iowa State lost 4 of 5 starters from a year ago. And there's a steal by the Cyclones. Tyler Babb takes it all the way and draws a foul.
Well, that's what Iowa State has to do to stay in this game. Missouri goes to an on-ball action, and Iowa State goes to their red action. They double it, and they come with high hands. Watch the double team. There's the ball screen, then the high hands of the double team is what creates the turnover. You don't come with the high hands, they throw it right by your ear. Iowa State, very well done.
Cyclones having trouble on the inbounds, just beating a 5 count into the hands of Jackson. Over to the wing. Down low, hitting the side of the backboard with the shot is Solomon Young.
Not one clean look yet by Iowa State.
Tenacious defense so far by Mizzou, and now an open 3 for Van Leer. They really need him to get his confidence going. He has struggled shooting the basketball of late. And a nifty reverse layup on the other end by Jeff Beverly.
Well, very well done. Iowa State got the ball from one end to the other on one bounce and in 4 seconds to the rim.
Van Leer up top. Into the corner, a 3 on the way. 2 strong from Barnett. Former Texas Longhorn, who was so good for Mizzou last year. Wigginton can't find it. Follow-up slam is off the mark, and Mizzou clears it. Cassius Robertson, who won the point guard spot late, been a 2 guard pretty much his whole life, but excited to run the point in this talented Missouri offense. Skip pass. Into the corner, they work it. Open 3 on the way, and it's knocked down by Jonte Porter.
It all started, though, with a pass out of the double team by the post. Then the ball gets to the far side of the floor. Iowa State right now to start the game, they're firing at the post, doubling on every touch.
Nice drive, open kick for the 3. Kicks off the iron short. Mizzou on the rebound into the hands of Robertson. Down low, and it'll be Iowa State basketball when we come back. We'll find out more about that young man, one of the top freshmen in college basketball, Michael Porter Jr.
Hey, Mike, let's do a fast break.
Let's do it.
What's your biggest fear?
Spiders.
Best sport other than basketball?
Football.
Favorite superhero?
Batman.
Can you play a musical instrument?
Piano.
Thanks for taking the fast break.
Well, he's got great hands on the basketball court, so I expect he's a pretty good piano player as well. And you know, he's a unique kid at 6'10 and 215 offensively, because he can make a 3, he can make a pull-up 3, he can slash with it, he can make layups, hard layups, contested layups, makes plays above the rim. Offensively, he's wired to score. Is he behind defensively like every other freshman in the country? Absolutely. But if he listens to that guy right there in front of him, Cuonzo Martin, for the next 5 or 6 months, his toughness will go to another level. His edge about how he plays will go to another level. And that guy right there settles for nothing other than your absolute best every single day.
One thing he is for sure, he is a shooting savant. Talking with our Director of National Recruiting, Paul Biancardi, he says by far and away he was the top shooting freshman in this class. Keep in mind, that's a 6'10 player, the best shooter of any freshman in the land. Jackson might have had it blocked. Follow, hoop in the hard. A chance for a 3-point play for the young man they call Solo, Solomon Young. And for more, Michael Porter, let's say hello to Myron.
That's his first, Tiger's second. Runs the line for the Cyclones, he'll shoot 1. Tally Jr. enters the game for Iowa State, who replaces Jeff Beverly.
guys, Michael, they said Michael was homeschooled, obviously, and he said that was an advantage for him. He said he spent a couple of hours on his reading, on his math, and the other 4, 5, 6 hours he was working on his fundamentals. And he said that really helped him and gave him an advantage. They weren't taught positions, Jonte and Michael, by Michael Porter Sr. They were taught every position, the fundamentals. So that's why they're so versatile. But he also said the homeschooling helped both of them focus on athletics while also doing their academics when they were in high school.
Third turnover on Mizzou, and one interesting thing about the brothers too, as well, Jimmy, they're entirely different players.
They are, but they're both. It's a very grounded family, very close knit. His mom, Lisa, averaged 58 a game in high school. Averaged 58. Went on to play for Vivian Stringer at Iowa. So there she is. But it's a built-in family to help this young man handle all the noise, all the distractions, all the stuff that's going to come at him his first year on a college campus.
Shot rejected. Wigginton took it in the trees and had it swatted away. And there on the other end, gliding in for the layup, is Jordan Barnett, the senior.
Maybe as important as anybody that Missouri will have on the floor this year that's not named Porter Jr., because this kid can do it all. Not sure his motor always fires, but in terms of what he can do offensively at 6'7", Barnett can take it from rim to rim. He can make threes. He knocked down 5 of them against Kansas in the exhibition game. A key piece for Cuonzo Martin this year.
You hit on the key part of his game as well, the motor. And you hear people around the program say, if he plays hard, if he plays hard.
And that should be the case. When you're an upperclassman, you should already know that lesson.
A little bit of some sloppiness here on the early going. Iowa State really struggling on the offensive end, missing 8 of their first 9 shots so far per year. Aggressive move, dribbles into a double and a kick out back up top. Diced. Give it. Oh, and there's a thunderous slam by Jordan Barnett.
When you break down on the ball, Mike, bad things are going to happen to you. That's exactly what happened to Iowa State. Took the shot fake, a breakdown on the ball, results in a dunk.
And a bump foul on the freshman Blake Harris quiets the standing crowd.
Yeah, it started with the ball fake, and defender leaves the feet, and then the hard rim cut by Jordan Barnett. Iowa State's defense is built to have hard ball pressure and everyone else in the gaps. And so far, they've been a little too tight on the other 4 defenders off the ball in this game.
You got to get this guy going, number 4.
Yeah.
Donovan Jackson. Strong take and a kick out pass up top. Shot clock at 10. Long into the corner. It's Jackson. A fadeaway 3. Tough shot. Rims out. And there to clean it up is Puryear.
Jackson can really shoot that basketball, and Missouri has made him take hard shots so far from beyond the arc.
Barnett feeling it from long range. And a push in the back. That's going to go against 11, Jonte Porter. And that'll be the first foul on Jonte Porter. Again, more of an inside presence than his brother Michael. Both vegetarians. In fact, the entire family vegetarians.
How can you be that big eating carrots?
That is a good question.
What in the world?
I admire the discipline. You're an 18, 19-year-old kid. You're not eating chicken wings or a steak every now and then.
Good for them. A lot of discipline in that family.
You and I broke that rule 3 times already.
You did. Don't pull me into your bad habits.
There's a trip foul, and that might have been for the best. Otherwise, Missouri was going to have an easy dunk in transition. 4 turnovers now on Iowa State with 13:09 to play first half. That will be on Jacoby Long.
Well, that will be the question for Steve Prohm early in this year is how do they score the basketball? When you lose guys like Monte Morris and DeAndre Burton and Matt Thomas and Naz Mitru-Long, all those guys were 15 to 16-point scorers. You just don't have that built-in guy other than Jackson to go too early. He's on the bench.
Right. I mean, Monte Morris was not just a guy that could give you 20 on a given night. He's had one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in Big 12 history.
Yeah.
A guy that really was such a floor general. You lose him, it's more than just the scoring.
Exactly right.
Missouri still trying to find some chemistry on offense with all new players joining Puryear and Barnett. Here's a tough 3, and that misses everything. Bit of a force there.
Why?
By Cassius Robertson.
Why take that shot, Mike? There's 14 on the shot clock.
Right.
You're taking a 28 contested 3-point shot.
Robertson A lot of confidence last year at Canisius, where he shot 41% from downtown, and maybe a little too much confidence there for the Canadian Cassius, former Canisius star. Say that 3 times real fast. 3 on the way from the wing. Boy, Iowa State cannot buy a bucket. Now 2 of 14 from the field.
They're taking hard shots. Basketball in its simplest form is this: the quality of my shot versus the quality of your shot. And so far, the quality of Missouri's shot is much better.
So much of that has to do with Missouri's defense so far in this first half. And look at Iowa State from a year ago. I had them in the Advocare Invitational, and they made it to the championship game. Nearly defeated Gonzaga, but you lose with DeAndre Burton, you lose Morris, who we just talked about. They lost 4 starters. They lost over 700 career three-pointers. And that's a lot to replace. 3 ball from the corner rattles home for Robertson.
Now, I want him taking that every time he can take it. He caught it clean. He caught it in the shot pocket. The pass was on time and on target, and he can really shoot that basketball like everybody else in the world when you take good shots.
Cyclones trying to find a good shot. That won't do it. A turnover on the freshman Wigginton. 5 turnovers on Iowa State. Porter dumps it off, but an offensive foul. And a good job of keeping his feet in front of the arc. That's 55, Jeff Beverly.
Mike Cassius Robertson is a career 40% three-point shooter. Now, he's only 6'2", but he explodes into his jump shot. Look at it again when we come back. I talked about Cassius Robertson going to break, and I love how he explodes into his jump shot every time. He's only 6'2", but you're going to see this guy is in shot-ready position, and he gets it over the long, outstretched arms of Lindell Wigginton, who is his same size. You can really pop. But look at the elevation and the explosion that this kid shoots it with, and he shoots it like that every single time. So that's making a contested shot, but it's a good look for him because of the high release point of the wrist and the explosion into the shot.
Part of that grad transfer rule where you can pick up some pretty talented players late in their career, and Cassius Robertson, as you mentioned, a prolific three-point shooter at Canisius, and now trying to run some point as well. One thing about Missouri, they're still trying to figure out who they are. I mean, we know they got a lot of talent, but that doesn't mean you don't gel together. You look at what they were last year. Obviously, it was a rough year. 39%, that's one of the worst field goal percentages in all of college basketball. They hire Cuonzo Martin. They get this recruiting class. But, Jimmy, what I want to ask you, we've seen this before. Last year was Markelle Fultz with Washington. They don't make the NCAA tournament. The year before, Ben Simmons was the phenom. They fail to make the NCAA tournament. What makes this team different with the Porter brothers?
Better supporting cast. You know, you bring in the number 4 ranked recruiting class, first of all, so it's more than just Michael Porter Jr. in that freshman class. And you had good role players like Purrier and Barnett that we've already seen to go with. And will Missouri learn to win? It's so important to get a fever and a kind of an aroma in your locker room about winning basketball games, and that's something that Missouri's going to have to learn to do. Iowa State knows how to win games. 6 straight NCAAs. Missouri's going to have to learn how to do it.
You just mentioned Kevin Purrier. He makes great defensive play on the other end. 6 turnovers now in Iowa State, and Missouri gives it right back. Ahead of the pack, it's Lewis, takes it all the way and banks it home.
Well, their best offense so far has been transition basketball, shooting layups within 3 or 4 seconds of the exchange.
Purrier finds Robertson over to Van Leer. High ball screen. Into the corner. And now down low, there's the double team. Iowa State tenacious on defense, forcing another turnover. That's 6 on Mizzou.
That is a great double team by Iowa State on the young freshman.
Long misfires. Blake Harris, another talented freshman out of Chapel Hill. Wild pass, and the layup is good for Jeremiah Tillman.
He's got really good hands and a knack for knowing where the ball is going to be as an offensive rebounder and on a lob pass guy.
Tillman out of East St. Louis, the same hometown as his head coach, Cuonzo Martin. foul as Wigginton hits the deck with 10:10 to go and 11 on the shot clock. Michael Porter Jr. has been on the bench since the first couple of minutes. Not in foul trouble, just 2 minutes played.
Well, Cuonzo Martin could have seen something, either lack of energy running from offense to defense or seen holding that knee there a little bit, but certainly there's something going on. Cuonzo is a no-nonsense guy. And if you don't bring it on the defensive end or crash an offensive rebound like you're supposed to, you will sit for a while.
It's not his first rodeo in having a stud player either. You might recall he had Jaylen Brown, a lottery pick when he was at Cal. Robertson lost it, passes it from the deck, and now a jump ball as Reed Nico got tied up. Nico, one of the veterans, and just a sophomore. Again, it's a really young team. When you take out Puryear and Jordan Barnett, you got a lot of freshmen and sophomores that are going to have to log serious minutes for Mizzou.
One thing about Iowa State so far, they are not offensive sensitive. What I mean by that, the ball's not going in for them. But their energy and their heat that they're putting on the basketball on the defensive end is really, really good.
Here's Phillips into the game. Sets up a three from up top, back iron, offensive rebound, offensive foul. As that'll go against Puryear, and that's his first. Now, Mizzou very active on the offensive glass, but also getting whistled for a number of offensive fouls. And that is the 17th foul already with 9:36 to go, so a 1-and-1 upcoming for the Cyclones.
It's an Iowa State team that wants to generate points and has to generate points this year from that charity stripe. And to be in the bonus now with a half of the first half to go, that's how they can stay in this ball game. They've taken the crowd out. The electric atmosphere that was rocking for about 5 or 6 minutes has settled down, and Iowa State has a chance now to hang in this game with horrible offense the first 8 or 9 minutes.
Yeah, they're fortunate. And they missed 14 of their first 17 shots, and it's just a 9-point deficit here with 9:36 to go first half. And you see Nico go to the bench. Second free throw for Talley. Knocks it through. An 8-point game, Mizzou on top, and still Michael Porter remains on the bench.
That could be our answer right there. And ice on that left hip. I don't know if he took a fall or something strange. He spent some time in the training room just over the last couple of weeks with a sore back and missed some time in practice yesterday actually with it. He's got fire again on the post.
Inside, count the basket plus the foul for Puryear.
Like Iowa State continues to double team any post touch. But this time, Missouri, the strength of the Missouri low post players, even starts with Tillman, just strong enough to get one bounce out of the double team to make the pass. A really good move by Tillman. He caught it, he was doubled, he took one pass, one bounce to separate from the double team, gave him vision for the cutter.
It's a young man in Puryear who was an all-SEC freshman, trimmed 10 pounds from a year ago. He had maybe the shot of the season for Mizzou. He had a career-high 30 points against Auburn in the SEC tournament, highlighted by a buzzer-beating three-pointer.
He's a valuable piece. And last year, he drew right at 5 fouls every 40 minutes that he was in the game. He's an undersized guy that defenders get their hands on him a lot.
Cyclones just weaving up top. Here's Wigginton on a pull-up. He's got to prove what kind of shooter he is at this level.
Yeah, right now the shot starts on the left side of his body and ends up on the right side of his body. He needs to groove that thing out. Iowa State still, they can't get enough paint touches in this game offensively.
There's a guy that can stroke it. Terrence Phillips, a junior out of Oak Hill Academy.
So you mentioned the chemistry of Missouri this year. What will it look like? Well, that's one of the pieces. Terrence Phillips, a 2-year starter, now comes off the bench. Does he accept that role? And when he comes in, plays lights out like a starter should, coming off the bench.
Talley, jab step, strong take to his right and banks it in. Nice move by Zoran Talley, a 6'7" junior from Maryville, Indiana.
Made a hard shot. That's about a 25% shot that's going to go down at the college level. Driving and still didn't get a paint touch.
Puryear finds a cutter and a push foul on Iowa State. That might be on Jackson. If it is, that's his second. 7:58 to play first half. Mizzou up by 12. It is another full slate of college football on Saturday at noon. Ole Miss plays host to the Ragin' Cajuns. Then it's 6-2 Kentucky taking on the Commodores at 4, and at 7:30 the nightcap, Tennessee heads right here to Columbia to take on Mizzou. Our SEC Saturday night game presented by Holiday Inn Express. Will Drew Lock continue his torrid passing? You see what he's done the last 5 games: 68%, 21 touchdowns, and 3 picks.
They can score. I've watched enough football to know Missouri can score.
It's the other end that's
the
been
other
an
team
issue.
can score too. That's played
Yes.
against, so that's the issue. But you look at Missouri right now. I believe they're 4-5. They have Tennessee at home tomorrow night. Then they have Vanderbilt and Arkansas to finish the season. So they got a chance to get bowl eligible on a year that started off not looking so good for them.
Look at Jimmy Dykes. You've been out of this arena for a couple years. Now you're breaking down college football.
I wouldn't say that's breaking down. I'm just stating the obvious. They got 3 games left. They have 4 wins. My math says they got a shot.
I felt a little of analysis in there. I don't know what you're talking about. You're too humble. To the free throw line, Cassius Robertson. Missouri up by 12 with 7:58 to go first half. And if you just joined us, we have not seen a whole lot of Michael Porter Jr. He's played just 2 minutes in this first half and looks to be banged up a little bit, although we cannot find the play where it happened. Our own Myron Metcalf will try to get the lowdown on that.
Yeah, we looked, and right now he's not even standing up when teammates come out of the game. Didn't see a fall, didn't see any kind of an awkward landing. But again, he has been bothered by a lower back injury just in the last couple of weeks.
So we're down to one Porter brother, Jonte. Jonte on the bench right now as well. Weiler Babb, one of the returners from last year. Hanging shot and a tough one mid-range by Long. Jacoby Long, a 6'4" sophomore out of Oklahoma.
But if you're Conzo Martin, you can live with that shot. You're continuing to make Iowa State take and make guarded twos.
I don't know if Iowa State's had a good look yet.
They have not.
Cyclones in transition. This is where they've been at their best. And a block foul. One of those 50-50 plays, but it will go against Terrence Phillips and the Tigers.
Good job by Lewis on the attack. And again, that's been Iowa State's best offense, is securing that defensive rebound and ripping and running the other way.
Lewis bricks the first.
And you look at this kid, Ann Wigington from Canada for Iowa State, 2 top 100 guys that Steve Prohm has in his freshman class as well.
An empty trip at the free throw line by the freshman. And they're going to have to rely a lot on freshmen as well. Lost a whole lot of productivity from a year ago. Iowa State, by the way, 6 consecutive NCAA tournaments. 3 of the last 4 Big 12 tournaments they have been the champion. Strong take and a foul called. Kevin Puryear, who is so good at drawing fouls. He was one of the best last year in the SEC in that category. There you see key losses from last season. Monte Morris, again, not just his scoring, he really was the heart and soul. Deontay Burton was a beast, not only scoring but also rebounding the basketball.
That's hard to place. That's hard to replace. That's 82% of your points and 76% of your minutes. They lost 7 seniors. 7 seniors that Steve Prohm says goodbye to on senior night, and now it's his guys, his team, and the rebuild begins.
I mentioned Puryear with a propensity to draw fouls. 4.7 fouls per 40 minutes.
Yeah, that is outstanding. And what he did on that last play, like he caught the ball, ripped, and was a straight line driver, didn't play around with a basketball, and that's when he's at his best.
Cyclones trying to get something going offensively. That'll help. Another mid-range jumper, that time by Beverly.
Interesting guy. Led the UT San Antonio in scoring last year after playing tight end on UTSA's football team in the fall.
The Roadrunners. Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, the SEC Nation Roadshow heads to Auburn, Alabama. Number 1 Georgia, number 14 Auburn, as we break down everything from the gridiron to the grill for Week 11 SEC Nation, presented by Johnsonville. Talk about a great game in conference, Georgia and Auburn. There's a whole lot of playoff implications out of that ball game at Jordan-Hare Stadium. 6.5 to play first half. Young feeling it from long range. That's a deep 2. Toe was on the line.
Iowa State went 10-2 last year after they inserted him in the starting lineup. And he got in that starting lineup by being a blue-collar, outwork you, out-tough you type guy. And Steve needs that from him again this year.
Barnett skips it into the corner. Robertson weaving and draws the foul. You get the feeling Missouri, this installment of Mizzou basketball, is going to go to the free throw line a lot.
More than they did last year. And if we were charting paint touches, Missouri probably has a 2-to-1 advantage so far in this game. They're getting the ball to the painted part of the floor about every trip, and Iowa State's getting there about every third trip.
Too strong on the first by Robertson, who said he hasn't played much point guard going all the way back to middle school. He's always been the shooter. That's what he was at Canisius. That's what they thought he would bring to Mizzou, and he still can from the point guard spot, but he's going to be asked to run the show quite a bit this year. He's got 6 now.
Yeah, he's a natural leader, though. His voice the last 2 days has been the voice for Missouri in their last 2 practices. And senior guy, knows how to score, and you cannot go under ball screens for him as a point guard.
Shot blocked. Here comes Mizzou in transition, and they give it right back into the hands of Lewis, ahead to Weiler-Babb. Lewis thought about it. Down low to Young, turnaround jumper. Cleared by Robertson. 5 rebounds now for Robertson. Open 3 from the corner. Got it.
That's very good early offense. They came down to the floor, was automatically spaced after running 94 feet from the defense to the offensive end. Very well done by Missouri.
7 points for Jordan Barnett, the former Texas Longhorn. Lewis on a 3. Left it short.
If Iowa State can't drive the ball in this game, they're going to get blown out by 20. They have to have success getting that thing to the rim.
Purrier on a tray. Got it! Timeout, Iowa State.
Missouri's dialed in on both ends, Mike, to start this game. Defensively, they're keeping the ball out of the paint. They're in great help position, and they are running with a purpose. They secure the rebound. Now watch them flood the floor. They have a big run down the middle. The other 4 guys spot up. 1 pass, 2 passes, wide open shot from the corner. You can't draw it up or execute it any better than that. And Purrier with a trail 3, and Missouri Arena comes to life.
Hey, you think about it, the looks that Purrier and Barnett really had to struggle for last year, they're going to get so many more open shots this year.
They should. And you look at a kid like Purrier, who's been through a lot of losses. I mean, he's got 60-something straight starts and not a lot of wins to go with all those starts. So you like his maturity, you like his voice. I love talking to Kevin at SEC Media Days, how he has completely embraced the influx of talent. And that's part of that chemistry stuff that Missouri's going to have to make sure that they handle all season long. And so far in this game, Missouri's playing for Missouri. They're not playing as individuals. That's a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely, and Missouri's made its last 4 3-point shots. Iowa State, meanwhile, has been ice cold from downtown. Donovan Jackson, still a goose egg, their best shooter. Weiler-Babb. There's a running hook shot, silky smooth move by Talley. 6 points for Zoran Talley, the junior.
Another hard shot, though, Mike. You're shooting a running floater into 2 defenders between you and the rim.
Yeah, nothing has come easy for Iowa State, and they're 0 for 6 from behind the arc. This is not Iowa State basketball so far.
Well, but I think it's to be expected.
Yeah.
You lose, and we've already talked about how much Steve lost from last year. And he talked about the value of this ball game, like every other coach in the country this weekend, finding out who you are and what you do well, what you don't do well, what guys show up on game night, who competes.
Iowa State right now down by 16. A long time since they've lost a game by more than 15 points. They've been really a model of consistency in the Big 12. Everybody knows about the dominance of Kansas, but Iowa State, you've been able to set your watch to it with Coach Prohm, and before him, of course, the mayor, Fred Hoiberg. And a timeout on the floor, 4 minutes remaining. Missouri dominating thus far, 35-18 our score here in Columbia.
Welcome in. We'll see you at the half. Noka, Bradley, Walker, Kentucky. Comeback. Who thought they would need one? A&M, bigger comeback than Kentucky had. First half take here from Mizzou Arena. What do you see?
Well, when you're able to defend a 3 over 6 now, Iowa State, they probably won't keep that up, though.
Balance on the offensive end for Missouri.
Just love seeing this atmosphere again.
Mike Morgan alongside Jimmy Dykes, and you see the preseason media poll in the SEC. Usual suspects at the top with Kentucky and Florida. Big win for Texas A&M today. They blew out West Virginia. Alabama, there's Mizzou at number 5. You see the rest. Jimmy, it seems to me anyway, we could have one of the deepest SECs that we've had in nearly a decade.
Well, because the talent's deeper than it's been maybe in the last 10 or 20 years in this league, and you got to have players to win ball games. But you're exactly right about Texas A&M. That's a big win for the Aggies and the SEC to start with, to beat West Virginia 88-65 tonight.
And they were playing shorthanded
without Caldwell. So I think Tyler Davis went for 21 and 13. Alabama won their opener without Colin Sexton. Kentucky won prior to this one tonight.
It's that time of the year where you really pull for your SEC brethren, because all those out-of-conference wins help your entire league come the month of March. Talley continues to be the spark for Iowa State. Offensively, he has 8.
Like, you always know what coaches talked about in the timeout on the very first possession. And obviously Steve Prohm has talked about attack the paint, get to the rim.
Puryear is talking about perhaps a career night. He's got 10 already.
Now the shot fake, Iowa State has bitten on it twice now and cost them 4 points because of it.
Donovan scoreless, and that's a forced shot. Donovan Jackson 0 for 6 now from the field.
So you've taken a 40% shooter in Jackson, taken him away from what he wants to do first, and made him a driver.
Beautiful blind pass and a layup up and in for Tillman.
This kid's really got a future, Tillman. He has feel for the game to know when to slip. He doesn't slip too early. He doesn't slip late. And great hands and an easy finish.
Wigginton has it swatted away.
Watch the slip by Tillman. He sets the hard screen. The double team of the basketball is still on the ball, and Tillman realizes it. They open that middle part, the middle third of the floor open, and Tillman just slides right into the vacated slot.
Already 4 blocks for Missouri in this first half. As Solomon Young checks back in for the Cyclones, Beverly gets a breather.
Andre Martin has made the adjustment against the double team of the on-ball action. Now taking his screener and faking the screen and slipping hard out of it. Puts that double team in a bind.
Absolutely nothing has come easy tonight for Iowa State. And that includes the inbounds pass. Again having trouble getting in. Weiler bad inside to Young. Up top, Wigginton on a 3. And boy, did Iowa State need that
badly. And that was, I have to take it, with a shot clock winding down by Wigginton.
That is the first 3 of the game for Iowa State, who last year was a prolific 3-point shooting team. inside, left-handed hook shot, rims out. And out of bounds, Iowa State.
Iowa State's made an adjustment. They've been burned a couple of times by double teaming the post. This time they let Solomon go one-on-one with Tillman. Tillman makes a nice move, just misses one right in front of the rim.
The Cyclones have a couple of minutes here before the half to try and cut into this deficit. They have trailed throughout this first half. They've been dominated really from the opening tip, and that won't help. Another turnover. Missouri off and running. 3-on-2, alley-oop stolen away by Weiler Babb, who went top floor for that swipe. And then Wigginton bumped and fouled.
That was an unbelievable defensive play by Nick Weiler Babb because he's beat. I mean, he's sprinting back on defense right in front of the rim where he's supposed to be. Because he does the fundamentals, he gets to the front of the rim, to the SEC logo, the elevation and the timing to rip that ball and get it going the other end. That's as good of an opening weekend defensive play in transition as we're going to see.
Yes,
that was terrific.
A lot of style points on that steal.
Wow.
Wigginton hit the lone three for the Cyclones on the last trip up the floor. Very talented freshman. Played his high school ball at Oak Hill Academy. Another talented Canadian. Think of all the great players recently to come out of Canada. How about Jamal Murray, Nick Stauskas, Tristan Thompson, Andrew Wiggins. They can play some ball north of the border.
Yeah, #1 kid out of Canada last year. He is a big-time explosive athlete, but that help defense right now from Missouri has not only Wigginton bottled up in this game, but all the Cyclones as well.
Under 90 seconds to go, first half. Missouri trying to add to a 14-point lead. But it was one of the rare times Missouri with the shot clock winding down under 10 and lost it out of bounds. Michael Porter Jr., he's only played 2 minutes so far. We saw him earlier with some ice on his hip. But if you're just joining us, started as you would expect, played a couple of minutes, went to the bench, and what didn't seem like anything significant in terms of an injury that we could tell. But he has not seen any action from that point on, and we'll see if there's any chance we'll see him in the second half.
Like you mentioned it earlier, if Iowa State can somehow get this thing to a 10-point game and a half, I think Steve Prohm's going to feel really good about his guys.
And he had a great look, but Talley fired off a brick. Phillips to Barnett. Nico inside. Around the horn and into the waiting hands of Robertson. Phillips probes the baseline. Kick out pass, sets up an open three from the corner, rims off.
Well, that's a really good job of Missouri to fill the opposite corner with a shooter on a baseline drive, something very difficult to guard.
7-second differential, game clock to shot clock. Wigginton hanging, had the first one blocked, misses the second one wildly.
Wigginton is up against size for the first time probably in his basketball career at the rim, keeping him from finishing.
Timeout called by Mizzou. Use it or lose it with 12.9 to go. And Missouri up by 14. It's another full slate of college football on Saturday. Ole Miss playing host to the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana. Kentucky Wildcats already bowl eligible, looking for win number 7 as they take on Vanderbilt. And then the SEC Saturday night affair presented by Holiday Inn Express. Drew Lock and Missouri taking on the Tennessee Volunteers. It has been a long year in Knoxville. And Missouri trying to end the season on a positive note, trying to get hot down the stretch. This version of Missouri on the hardwood has been hot virtually the entire first half, shooting 54% from the field, out rebounding Iowa State, and really you could say Jimmy Dykes outplaying Iowa State in almost every category.
Well, they are, and it's no surprise to me when Cuonzo Martin got hired. I talked to him probably a couple of weeks after the job, and I thought it was interesting. He said, we've started playing a lot of 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 5-on-5 to get our guys competitive. He felt like the inherited Missouri team that just didn't know how to compete and get after it every single day. So it's an interesting offseason for Cuonzo. Normally it's skill development, putting in offense. He wanted his guys to learn to compete more than anything. The first month he had the head coaching position here.
Robertson only had 2 seconds. Going to have to launch it here quickly. Would have been good if it went, but it doesn't. And that'll put a lid on half number 1. A half dominated by Missouri, a 14-point advantage. It was everything that Cuonzo Martin could ask for, especially without a healthy Michael Porter Jr. for 18 of the 20 minutes. Came true for the Tigers, dominating this game, shooting the basketball, rebounding the basketball. We'll see if Iowa State can mount a comeback in half number 2. Overall impressions of what you saw in half number 1.
Well, no surprise, Missouri's defense is really, really good. They're locked in, and they're keeping the ball out of the paint. Cuonzo's got to be pleased with that.
Let's check in with Myron Metcalf.
Coach, people want to know what's going on with Michael Porter. Only played 2 minutes in the first half.
He hurt his leg, so we'll just want to take precaution, make sure he's okay. Yeah.
He didn't play, and here you have this big lead. How happy are you with what your team's been able to do, even without Michael so far?
We're doing some good things. The guys are working hard. They're doing a good job defending, getting stops. Just got to be consistent on both sides.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Myron, thank you very much. The pride of East St. Louis joining us, and we will set up the studio. Dari Noka, Pat Bradley, and Antoine Walker standing by. Mizzou up by 14.
All right, Mike, Jimmy. Good to hear you again, by the way, Jimmy. Nice. Welcome in. Pat Bradley, Antoine Walker, Dari Noka here. I think we all wanted to see Michael Porter a little bit more than we have. All the talk about the freshmen and Tillman and John Tay, but it's veterans that we're used to seeing. Jordan Barnett and Kevin Perry are leading the way from Missouri.
Man, they've been through the wars, right?
Yep,
Last year.
They have.
They've taken the bruises, and I think because of those guys, it's going to help these young guys. We all know that freshmen are going to take a little while to understand how hard you got to compete on every play, offensively and defensively. So some great guys to learn from in Perrier and Phillips and Barnett, like we said, who's been through the whole kind of SEC schedule up and down. So those guys and their presence are going to help these young guys along.
And the atmosphere helps them.
Yep.
They've never played in this type of atmosphere since they've been in school. So now you get an opportunity to play in front of a lively crowd. A bunch. They're gonna make them play a lot better. But this is going to help Michael Porter Jr. having those guys around him, those veteran guys. I love the balanced offensive attack that Missouri is playing with. Moving the basketball, Robertson, he's going to be a good point guard for them to go alongside Terrence Phillips. So look for them to get better, even better offensively.
Meanwhile, you can see Iowa State's missing the guys that put the ball in the basket a year ago. Just 1 of 8 from 3, 31% from the floor. It's all Mizzou right now. Meanwhile, how about this one? This did not go as expected. Kentucky at home against Utah Valley University. And Utah Valley University.
Come on, man.
Kenneth Ogby, former Ute, puts them up 12. And then here comes Kentucky. A little defense leading to offense, guys.
Little Dominique Wilkins right there.
That's a 44.5-inch vertical.
With the left, too.
Is it 44.5?
Oh, yeah, you got to give him the half. That separates you from the guys that are only at 44.5.
Okay, I got you.
He's got 44.5.
Yeah, Cats do use an 18-0 run to go on to win it by 10. Meanwhile, A&M and West Virginia in Germany on this Veterans Day. Ramstein Air Force Base, I should say. DJ Hogue for 3. It was a 13-point West Virginia lead at one point in this game. And A&M goes on a mammoth run to finish the game by dominating the Mountaineers. They win this thing by 23 points. In fact, in transition alone, the Aggies outscored 37-12.
Well, you just see how much talent they have. We knew that they had talent even going back to last year. We know they got a ton of offensive talent this year. Yeah. Gilder and Davis and Hogue. It's just a matter of putting it together, and they did it. I hate that it took them to go all the way to Germany to put it together.
Right.
But wherever you got to go to get it.
I mean, I'm just doing some math. 39, I'm just doing some math here. After it was 26-13, it was 73-39 the rest of the way.
Need my phone? Calculator?
I'm good.
Okay.
Good old fat. The kiddos don't do this anymore, but I actually solved it by
do that
writing.
in pencil, just in case.
How do you explain a team that starts the way they did, missing key parts, obviously, in a point guard that they're missing, and then Robert Williams, yet coming back against a good basketball team and doing this?
It's funny, when me and Pat was watching the game, he was like, I want to see how tough Texas A&M is. And they showed how tough they were. Get out to a slow start. Obviously, DJ Hogue getting started, so that got, they kind of don't know the reason behind that. But once he came in ready, focused to play. But the difference is they can score the basketball. They're making 3-point shots. Last year, they couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. And now you look at a team that's averaged 66 points last year, 85, great impressive performance without Robert Williams.
22 assists tonight for Texas A&M. Out-rebounded West Virginia by 12. 10 steals. They were doing it every which way. But if you defend and you get tough against Press Virginia, who's going to come at you, they're not going to stop, and you stand up to them, you're going to get some open shots. Hogue found some shots in transition. Gilder, again, we talked about, and Davis got some touches.
All right, big win, huge win. Statement win for the Aggies and, quite frankly, for this league.
Yes.
Here on the first night of the season. All right, much more still ahead. Let's show you South Carolina, shall we? This is a team that on Monday, well, you'll see them in a moment. How's that? I'll tell you that. You'll see them in a moment.
Tease of all teases.
Have we built a drama? Tigers by 14. Much anticipated South Carolina Wofford highlight. We carried it through the break for you. Final Four banner goes up in Columbia Monday. Be there. John Sunbull and I'll be on that call. You better believe it. Look out. Charging down the lane. Look at the ball movement. Mike Kotsar kicks it out. Wesley Myers for three. That's one of the 3 transfers that they expect big things from in that backcourt. Second half. Chris Silva. He's a name we know.
He plays so big, and he's getting the most out of what he needs to do. Rim protection for him and his presence in the paint for this team is going to go a long way.
Yeah, to your point. 10 rebounds, 2 blocks. All for
what he does.
They go on the road and win. All right, Tennessee and Presbyterian. Now, this game had an interesting little pace to it. Now, Presby scored the first basket of the game, all right? So it was 2-0 Presby at one point.
How about the
Before many of us could blink, Tennessee scored the next 28. Out of curiosity, we look back to see. Well, Tennessee hasn't scored 28 points in football in over 2 months.
Oh, you waiting for that one, weren't you? Take it easy on him, man.
That was provided.
They need something.
That information was provided by a Tennessee alum. Alabama and Memphis playing in the Veterans Classic in Annapolis. No Colin Sexton. Freshman point guard, 1-game suspension, but Dejon Ingram was big. Ingram there again. Ingram with 20 points and nice win over Tubby Smith.
Yes,
for Avery.
big win for Alabama to get started with all the guys they had out.
Mississippi State, Alabama State. In transition off the steal, Quindary Weatherspoon with a finish. They're up 32 and a nail-biter.
Versatile guy, one of our favorites. Very tough, too, and he's finally healthy.
His brother Nick, too, played his first game at Mississippi State. He scored 11.
He's one of my candidates for SEC Player of the Year.
Quindary or Nick?
There.
I knew that. 14-point lead right now for Missouri. The question, though, will we get to see Michael Porter Jr. a little bit in the second half? Ole Miss, Andy Kennedy's team taking on Louisiana. Dory Noka, Pat Bradley, Antoine Walker. Nice block inside. Off the block, here goes Ole Miss. Terrence Davis in the lane, scores. They're up 6 right now on the Cajuns. LSU, an Alcorn State, true freshman, or rather freshman, I say, yeah, true freshman, Tremont Waters, ranked number 34 in the ESPN 100. Had a ball game, guys.
Dara, you got a kid that can set you up like that. He makes the game easy for everybody. They're going to score a lot easier this year than
Good
last.
start for Will Wayne.
Yes.
Welcome to the league. Arkansas taking on Samford. Daryl Macon. No look to Daniel Gafford. You like Gafford. He's
inside out, no look.
Yeah.
Yes, Gafford runs like a guard at 6'11". Jumps as high as he has to.
I like Macon a little bit better, though.
You may like Gafford more at the end of the year. All right. Look at that. Off the swat. Here we go. Jordan Barnett. Easy finish. 14-point lead. Tigers, second half straight ahead. We'll see you for SEC now when it's over.
Dominating first half by Missouri. A festive mood here in Columbia. Some Christmas lights in downtown Missouri, and the Tigers hope to light up the scoreboard this year with an improved bunch. 39-25, your halftime score. A sellout crowd, many of which came to see Michael Porter Jr. He only played 2 minutes. More on that in a moment. But certainly this crowd wants to see results besides just from Michael Porter. And overall, domination by Mizzou in half number one.
Really on both ends of the floor. And you look at this ball game, Iowa State has taken 7 more shots than Missouri in the game. The problem is the quality of shot that Iowa State's taken compared to Missouri. Missouri's getting the ball to the paint. They're doing it in transition. They're doing it in the half court. Their bigs have been really good at slipping out of ball screens. They've gotten on the offensive glass a couple of times, but their offense has given Iowa State fits in terms of attacking the paint from different areas with different people. And Iowa State has continued to take hard shots. The building is on fire. Missouri basketball is back where the entire state now is rallying around the Tigers, and they've got this lead, like you said, with Michael Porter Jr. only playing 2 minutes.
Missouri as a team last year shot 39% from the field, 52% tonight in the first half. Meanwhile, Iowa State, their starting backcourt of Jackson and Wigginton, just 1 for 13 combined from the field. And again, Michael Porter Jr., just 2 minutes of action. We understand a little banged up, and for more on that, here's Myron.
Well, guys, we found out that Michael actually tweaked a hip injury during warm-ups, and they tried to see if he could go. And in the first 10 minutes of the game, he tweaked it again. Coach Martin said they kept him out as a precaution in the first half, but he has not been ruled out for the second half.
Yes. All right, thank you, Myron. Certainly these fans would love to see a little bit more of Mr. Michael Porter Jr. Iowa State has it first here in half number 2. Open baseline jumper, no, and there's the weak side rebound and follow by Weiler Babb, his first bucket of the night.
But good things started in the second half for Iowa State with a hard attack of the paint, and then the kick out frees up an offensive rebound.
These two programs, of course, longtime Big 12 rivals. They go back to 1909. Nice pass, and they open stuff by Tillman.
Doesn't he move well without the basketball?
He sure does.
Talking about Tillman. For an 18-year-old freshman, as big as he is, there's no wasted movement with his steps.
They list him at 6'10", 252 pounds, but he moves like a gazelle. And block foul called on the penetration by Weiler Babb.
Well, Puryear is a really good passer, and the double team came, but it came late and allowed Puryear to find Tillman cutting to the rim.
I think one of the reasons why people were so high on Missouri this year, and we saw those preseason rankings, yeah, they only won 8 games a year ago, 2 in conference. It's not just the freshmen. When you can return guys like a Jordan Barnett and a Kevin Puryear, that makes that transition a lot easier for all those 18 and 19-year-olds. Here is Puryear up top, finding Van Leer. Van Leer in the starting lineup tonight. Puryear on the baseline, loves that shot. The lefty triggers and knocks it home. What a night for Kevin Puryear. He's got 12.
Beverly gave him too much space. I mean, Puryear caught the basketball, squared up, and Beverly never closed the air space on him. Puryear read it very well done.
A smooth-looking player. And his attitude, despite losing all those games first couple years, he never showed it. That time, a major bucket for a guy who has finally started to heat up. That's Weiler Babb.
Very important first 4 minutes for Iowa State in the second half. They could not afford for Missouri to come out and get on a 7-0 run and push this thing out to 20. And now they're right back in this ball game with ball pressure up top, forcing a turnover.
11 turnovers tonight on Missouri. One thing we know about a coach-prone team, they are not going to give up.
No.
Mental toughness is something he preaches. You and I watched him in a grueling shoot-around today. They are just like a well-oiled machine under his direction. He's a fantastic coach. Cyclones with a chance to cut into the lead, make it a single-digit deficit. On the baseline, going to work, Young with a jump hook shot. Beautiful play by Solomon Young, who has 6, and it's down to 9.
Like, that's good offense. They feed the post and then vacate the ball side of the floor, allowing Solomon Young to go one-on-one.
Cassius Robertson to Puryear, has had the hot hand. Up top, Barnett. Puryear with 7 on the shot clock. Robertson going to try and make something happen. Wheels, deals, a force. There's an offensive rebound. And there's the putback by Jeremiah Tillman, who now has 10.
That's just a killer, though, if you're Iowa State. You do everything great for 30 seconds of a shot clock, and you can't clean up the miss.
10.7 rebounds for Tillman. And a block foul on Missouri. Myron, what do you have?
Well, fellas, I talked to Coach, and he said, look, this is a crazy environment for this young team. He thinks they've been a little bit rattled. Obviously, offensively, they're struggling. Tillman is really beating them up inside, but he wonders if this crowd isn't doing a lot of damage to this young team as they try to adjust to that. First sellout since March the 5th of 2013. That came against Arkansas. These are great fans. They're knowledgeable fans. They love the game of basketball, and they've had to suffer through some lean times the last few years, but they've got something to be excited about this year. And anytime you see Iowa State on the schedule, that makes them excited as well. 234th meeting, which dates back to 1909. It wasn't the Big 12 back then, it was the Big 6.
I mean, even before the Big 8.
Even before the Big 8.
Going way back.
Going way back. I'm going pre-John Sunvold.
They told me your research was like high level.
I have a crack staff that I hire part-time. That might be a 5-second up. Coach Brome had to call a timeout. He was in the danger zone, and we'll take a timeout with him with 16:54 to go. Missouri up by 11.
Let's get it. College hoops are here. Big time. Boom. It's #1 Duke versus #2 Michigan State. #4 Kansas versus #5 Kentucky. One night, 2 blockbuster matchups. With the college football playoffs, top 25 in between games.
Well, I know what I'll be doing on Tuesday night. I'll be glued to ESPN watching those 2 great games featuring 4 top 10 teams. And speaking of the top 10, Duke, Michigan State, Arizona, Kansas, Kentucky, Villanova, Greg Marshall, and Wichita State now in a new conference. Florida, North Carolina, and Southern Cal.
Well, what a way to start college basketball season in the first full week, and having 4 of the top 5 in the AP poll going head-to-head on one night. And that Duke team, just from the exhibition games that I was able to watch online, the most talented starting 5 in college basketball, I think, is in Durham, North Carolina right now with Coach K's 5 guys.
Led by Marvin Bagley, ranked #1 on the ESPN 100. That's a nifty move right there by Jeremiah Tillman. He's giving you a little bit of everything tonight now, 12.7 boards.
Mike, I keep singing his praises, but he's doing stuff that a veteran post player is what you're normally looking for, and this kid's a freshman. Remember in the first 3 or 4 minutes, he turned it over when they came and fired at him with a double team. He has not turned it over since then. He's made great passes. He's also scored out of that double team. A quick learner. Good players get better within the game, and Jeremiah Tillman is a good player.
It's a well-deserved breather here. So much talk about the Porter brothers. Jeremiah Tillman was a top 50 recruit himself.
Yeah.
Nice pass to Wigginton on an open tray, and that is Iowa State basketball right there.
Yeah, that is great offense right there. A hard baseline drive. They had the opposite corner filled, but they also had the opposite slot filled, and Wigginton knocked us down.
Little Hilton magic on that possession, and looking for more here. In transition, Wigginton, explosive. Wigginton drives by everybody and gets the bucket. 10 points for the freshman.
Wigginton on his own little 5-0 spurt over the last 40 seconds.
Geist. Got Purrier on a post, feeds him. Geist backing in. Up and under move. Where did that come from? Jordan Geist at 6'2", working on some low post game.
Steve Prohm on film will be able to show his guys in an edit how many times they were beaten off of a ball fake in this game and gave up points because of it.
Empty trip for the Cyclones. Here comes Mizzou. And a slow up by Robertson. Inside. And a bucket, but a whistle away from the ball. And we'll clean that up when we come back. 14:52 to play. Missouri up by 10.
I hope that you
Day for one of the legends of college basketball, Missouri's legendary coach, Norm Stewart, honored with the dedication of a statue outside the Mizzou Arena. Stewart, 39-year association with his alma mater as a student athlete, assistant coach, and of course the head coach of Missouri from 1967 through 1999. He won over 600 games, 19 Big 8 conference championships, took the program to the Elite 8 as well, and one of the nicer guys you'll ever meet, Norm Stewart, here at Norm Stewart Court at the Mizzou Arena. And yes, the number retired right next to our own colleague, John Sunvold. 16 NCAA tournament appearances, the 1994 AP Coach of the Year.
A part of Missouri basketball for 39 years as a player, an assistant coach, or a head coach. Got the Missouri Tigers to a couple of Elite 8s, 19 Big 8 conference titles, and maybe more important than all that stuff, he'd be the first one to tell you, he was one of the first coaches to jump on board with the Coaches versus Cancer cause. And I saw him talking about it earlier tonight. Over $100 million has been raised through Coaches versus Cancer. He's still very involved and very active with it. But boy, Missouri basketball in the Hearn Center for years and years was the place to be on game night. A beautiful man is what Norm Stewart is in so many ways. Very giving of his time. And pleasure to see him here tonight doing well.
Before we went to break, that last bucket did not count. The foul was on Iowa State, however. It was a Rand tally, so Missouri basketball. Good hustle there by Donovan Jackson looking for the steal. Jackson's been quiet tonight.
Mike, think about this. Steve Prohm has 8 guys tonight. Got Lard suspended back home, who's going to be a real help to them. A big 6'9" freshman, and Hans Braze is not quite ready yet. He's got 8 guys. His arguably leading scorer on the year has not scored yet. Number 4, Donovan Jackson. You look up, it's a 10-point game on the road in a sold-out arena.
Yeah. A lot of adversity to fight through in this game tonight. They hope to have Cameron Lard back. He's got one more game that he'll have to sit out. He'll be a big part of Iowa State's front line, as you see a little scrum there near the elbow, and the possession arrow will go to Missouri.
Or you never throw the ball sideways or behind you in transition, and that's almost what Iowa State did there. It's a high-risk pass and ended up with no reward at all. That ball's got to keep attacking and going towards the rim. A very costly turnover because of it.
You don't replace 4 of 5 starters, including your top scorer, your top rebounder, your top assist to turnover ratio guy, and really the pulse of that team.
Nope.
And Morris, without having some hiccups like we're seeing tonight.
Yeah, but they've had all those hiccups, and this is still a ball game. With the talent on that floor on Tuesday night, and look at possible National Players of the Year. Grayson Allen will be in that conversation. Miles Bridges from Michigan State will be in that conversation. Monte Graham from Kansas will be in that conversation. That will be a loaded night.
Too strong on the 3 and tearing away the rebound in traffic, Solomon Young. Still stuck on a 10-point deficit. Cyclones trying to put a run together.
It's a big trip to kind of get this ball game back in single digits, which it hasn't been since the first 4 or 5 minutes of the ball game.
Wilder bad. Around the screen, finds it open to Wigginton. Spin move, knifing in, draws the foul, and you can see why Lindell Wigginton was such a high recruit. He has got some explosiveness in his game.
And your description was very accurate, the spin move. And he's very good at starting to his left and then spinning back hard to get to that right side of his body. But you look at his lower body, his leg strength and his arm, that's the look of a kid that's more like a junior.
Yep.
He can really explode.
This is one area of his game he is going to have to improve on, and that is the shooting. Number 1 rated recruit from Canada. Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Had 4 steals in the exhibition win against Emporia State.
As the scouting report continues to grow on Wigginton, and it will, scouting reports grow throughout the year. Every head coach that plays against this young man going forward will say, don't foul his hard shots. Because he takes hard shots, don't bail him out and let him get to that free throw line.
There'll be a lot of playing behind him as well if he doesn't start hitting some more outside jumpers.
Going under all those ball screens.
Finally corralling it is Porter who draws the foul. Jontay Porter had a tough time scooping it up off the deck.
Missouri is not outworking Solomon Young on the inside. They're outsizing him, but they're not outworking him. He's doing all he can. 33 in the maroon right there on the right side of that free throw lane. He is giving effort, refusing to give in to fatigue, because he's played a lot of minutes so far, banging big bodies on the inside.
Jontay might not have quite the stroke that his brother Michael Porter does, but he's got a pretty smooth stroke as well. Both brothers do not shoot like guys that are 6'10 and 6'11 respectively.
Young kid hasn't even turned 18 years of age yet.
Reclassification. What do you think of all the reclassified guys that we're seeing, including one Marvin Bagley of Duke?
Well, what they're trying to do is start their NBA clock a year earlier and get that money coming earlier. And Jontay didn't do it, I don't think, for that reason. I think he did it because he wanted to make sure he had at least 1 year playing with his older brother Michael and his father on staff. That's just a unique time for a family that's as close as they are, and Michael continues to sit.
Do you think it'll be more of a trend in college basketball?
No, I don't think it's going to be something that, first of all, every kid can do academically. And you have to remember the Porter kids were homeschooled, and I don't know if that gave them an advantage or not in terms of the amount of work they could do without a time frame on them. But the best ones are looking at how to get that money quick.
Cassius Robertson, the grad transfer from Canisius, that's what he does best, a three-point demon. He has 9. And the lead swells to 15 for the Tigers. Another tough shot by Long. It's a running 15-footer for the baseline. Geist in transition. Got it. Timeout, Cyclones.
Just when Iowa State gets it down to a 10-point game, there's the explosion and the pop of Robertson. They got the first 3 going, and the crowd, the energy picks up in the building, and then Geist does a nice job of bringing it up under control and elevates straight up and straight down. Very difficult to bring it in transition and not float into your shot. Geist got set, the building goes in fire, and Iowa State has to take a timeout.
That is a scene we didn't see a whole lot of the last couple of years.
No.
Celebrating on the bench. After a big shot, Missouri's had plenty of them in this game so far tonight. They have shot the ball well. They have rebounded the ball well. 56% from the field, 47% from downtown, and 10 of 11 from the free throw line. Sellout crowd, the first in nearly 4 years here at the Mizzou Arena. A new era, Cuonzo Martin. A top-notch recruiting class. And a couple of veterans who have played well tonight, in particular Kevin Puryear, who leads all scorers in this game with 12.
Mike, you asked me earlier, what's the difference of Michael Porter Jr. at Missouri and what it was for Ben Simmons at LSU and Markelle Fultz at Washington? We're seeing it tonight. Porter has basically not played in this entire ball game.
Right.
There's much more to this Missouri team than Michael Porter Jr.
Great point. And I think, you know, a key part of that as well, compared to those other 2 scenarios, as you see Michael Porter Jr. just a spectator so far tonight.
Not a ball of energy sitting over there right now.
Was that a yawn? Did we catch a yawn?
Yes, that was a yawn. It was a big yawn.
I'm glad he wasn't listening to us. I would have taken that personally. 3 from the corner, off the mark, and here comes Geist, and he will slow it up. As we are now under 12 minutes remaining in this one, it has been all Missouri, up by 18 over their former conference foe, Iowa State. But you know, the other difference in those 2 scenarios, this is a new coach, and a coach who's obviously not on the hot seat. Those other 2 scenarios, maybe not the best environment for a superstar freshman.
That was a maybe pass.
12 turnovers on Mizzou, and then an air ball. And you will not see Donovan Jackson fire up an air ball probably the rest of the year. He's a terrific shooter, but he has struggled.
Well, Missouri got into him early. I mean, they have gotten into his body. They have not allowed him to go right into his jump shot, which he's terrific. That is one of the strengths that he has. Missouri's been dialed in the scouting report. And Donovan Jackson has been taken out of this ball game. And it's not easy to do.
Jackson 0 for 7 from the field. I don't think he missed a shot at shoot-around today. They were running every drill and shooting drill you could think of. He was nearly perfect. That's a perfect look right there for Robertson.
That was really good late clock. Just a high, flat ball screen when it got under 10, and Robertson read it well. And again, the explosion into his shot off the bounce is very hard to guard.
Too strong on the three. Follow is no good. Second effort is good by Long. And some contact over there by the sideline. We were talking about coaches. And of course, a great night for a former Missouri coach, Norm Stewart. And standing by with the legend is one Myron Metcalf.
Coach, you're obviously a legend around here. What's it like to see this place with the sellout and this atmosphere as crazy as it's been?
Well, I didn't have anything to do with the sellout, believe me, Myron. But it's great to see the fans come back. And I told them at halftime, they've been absent for a while, but they're back now. I think Cuonzo Martin has done a great job kind of uniting everybody. And obviously the players that he's brought in have been the force that everybody wants to see.
You had a special ceremony in your honor earlier today. You were honored again at halftime with some of your old guys. What was that feeling like to be remembered and honored in this building?
Well, I'm really pleased. I'm proud of it. But we had 70-some ball players come back. Stepanovich, Doug Smith, I mean, great players. Willie Smith, great players. So it's an honor. I'm flattered, but I'm really pleased.
What's the biggest difference from when you started in coaching? How much has the game changed?
Well, the game's changed a lot. And humorously, so are the salaries.
That's the truth, Coach. What do you think about this squad? Michael Porter Jr., we haven't seen him play a lot, but obviously this is a talented group here that Cuonzo has.
Yeah, he's a very good talent, very good player. Obviously, he's injured and can't play tonight. I watched him play high school because he's right here. He and his brother both. His brother is, I think, coming on because there's not as much attention given to him, and he has proven to be a very good player also.
Well, Coach, definitely thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Byron thanks class personified Norm Stewart, looking on and watching his beloved Missouri Tigers up by 20 against Iowa State. And as a silencer delivered that time by Weiler Babb, he's got 10.
Doesn't Coach look great?
He does.
He really looks good. I hadn't seen him in probably 10 years, and can tell that he's enjoying his retirement. Spends a lot of time in California, about 6 months out of the year. But boy, he is Missouri basketball. And when you play for a school and coach at a school and give 39 years to a school like he's done, it tugs on your heart. I know he's awfully thrilled to see this crowd tonight.
Weiler Babb now with the last 5 points for Iowa State, and a timeout called by Cuonzo Martin as the lead is cut to 15 with 8:47 to go. Don't forget, another full slate tomorrow, college football here on the SEC Network. Ole Miss will start things off at high noon against the Raging Cajuns, and the Wildcats of Kentucky will battle Vanderbilt in the Music City. And then at 7:30, right here, right behind us as a matter of fact, we'll cap off the day with the Vols taking on Mizzou. Our SEC Saturday night game presented by Holiday Inn Express. Jeremiah Tillman has played well tonight for Missouri. Another one of those highly touted freshmen at 6'2", 6'10", 250 pounds, and he has been the real deal inside.
Well, he's got a great feel for the game, and feel is something that you can't coach. You either have it or you don't. This kid's got it. And in terms of being coachable, he's probably the best teammate that Cuonzo Martin has as a freshman. His voice is good. All the teammates like him. He never takes a possession off. Originally signed with Illinois, and then when the coaching changed there with John Gross, Cuonzo came in and swept him up and brought him to Columbia, but this kid really runs and jumps, and he's tough. He's a foundation guy. He's not some kid that's going to be here for 1 year. I mean, he could leave after his second year with a body like that, but that's part of that top 5 recruiting class. And again, it's more than Michael Porter Jr. We haven't seen him tonight, but you look at Tillman, you look at Blake Harris, we haven't called his name a lot, Jonte Porter. And the foundation is set for Missouri to be a prominent team once again, not only in the SEC, but in college basketball landscape across the country.
And you get the feeling this is not going to be a kind of a flash in the pan scenario. No. This program, like so many great programs, every now and then you hit a rut. They hit a rut, right? But when Missouri is right, they are awfully good. A lot of resources here in terms of facilities, fan base, tradition, a lot of things going for them, and a tremendous fan base overall. Very knowledgeable and dedicated, as we see tonight. First sellout in nearly 4 years at the Mizzou Arena.
That was a great defensive possession by Iowa State against Missouri, who is in the Big 12 and NCAA tournament, Elite Eights. But dribble handoffs into ball screen, dribble handoff into a ball screen, and Iowa State was on top of the action the entire time and forced a travel call.
What about the Big 12 this year? If we're looking at yet another regular season title for Kansas.
Wouldn't that be crazy? 14 straight years for Kansas to win that Big 12 title if they do it.
And nobody could say the Big 12 has been down.
No, not
year
at
in
all.
and year out. It's a quality league.
You could argue it's been the best league the last couple of years for sure. Kansas just keeps on pounding away.
Iowa State keeps coming away with points here. 14 now. A while they're bad. They only had 0 in the first half. So a tale of 2 halves for the junior out of Arlington, Texas. The question is it too little, too late? Under 8 minutes to play, can Iowa State get some stops?
That's offensive.
No question. Puryear on a clear out. And that'll send us to break with 7:42 to play. Missouri leading Iowa State 61-48. More to come on Mizzou's new head coach, Cuonzo Martin. So we return in Columbia.
Well, this is obviously Cuonzo Martin is here and 2 hours away from East St. Louis, where he grew up. This is a guy who beat cancer, has done so many phenomenal things in his career and his life. On the weekends when he was a kid, his mother would take him to open houses at really ritzy multi-million-dollar homes in the St. Louis suburbs. They were poor, but she wanted them to get a taste of what they could achieve if they worked hard. And I joked with Cuonzo, I said, look, man, you got the money to buy any one of those houses right now. And he laughed. And he said, man, I'm humbled by everything that's happened. He's committed not just to this campus, but to this state and this community. He has a really strong tie to this place.
Byron, thanks. Of course, he had a great career, led Purdue to 2 Big Ten championships, played under Coach Cady alongside All-American Glenn Robinson, played in the NBA for a few years, and then paid his dues as an assistant. Got his first big break as a head coach at Missouri State. In fact, when he was at Missouri State, they went up against Murray State, and an assistant coach on that Murray State squad was one Steve Prohm, who we had a chance to talk about with earlier today at Shoot-Around.
I think Cuonzo fits as a head coach better at Missouri than he did at Tennessee or Cal, either one, because of his ties back to Missouri State and being so close from East St. Louis, Missouri. I do know this. If your son is tough enough to play for Cuonzo Martin, they're going to be a success in life. And not everyone is tough enough to play for him.
And he's consistent, whether you're
absolutely
the last guy on the bench or you're a McDonald's All-American. You better learn a little bit of discipline if you're playing for Coach Martin.
Iowa State needs back-to-back stops and back-to-back baskets, and they need it right now.
3 on the shot clock inside, and that was the worst-case scenario.
Again, this kid's ability to read the defense, read where the ball is and where he's supposed to go, very, very impressive for a freshman.
14 and 7 for Jeremiah Tillman. Talley too short on the 3. Now, fans came here to see a couple of sensational freshmen with the last name Porter. The freshman who has stolen the show is number 23, Jeremiah Tillman. This guy's been pretty good too, Kevin Puryear. And draws a foul about 25 feet to the basket.
Mike, watch Tillman. He comes up, sets the ball screen, and as soon as he sees the double team, there's a hard dive to the rim. Now the Iowa State weak side defense, Talley is late rotating over. He should have been right in front of the rim and make Tillman go through his chest, which he probably would have, but this guy has, there's no wasted step in his movement from a screener opening up and seeking the rim. A lot of big guys will take an extra step or two when they're young. This kid doesn't do it.
Oldest play in basketball still works, doesn't it?
Sure does. If you execute it, you do it with timing.
Shot clock under 10 for Robertson. Inside, Tillman, double teamed. Robertson going to have to launch. Tap to Puryear. And a trip to the free throw line for the junior, who has been very strong tonight. Second foul on Beverly. Kevin Puryear, from the start of this game, mid-range jumpers. Now he's a force on the glass as well, and a mainstay in the starting lineup for Missouri now, 3 years running. The thing I like about this young man, Jimmy, is having come here the last couple of years, from time to time, everybody knows what it's like to go through one of those just treacherous years, and it's easy for a young kid like Kevin Puryear. He could have kind of put his head down, maybe played selfish basketball, not said the right things or do the right things. You never sensed any of that. That kid played hard, and he played right.
Well, we touched on it in the first half. He's also embraced the talent that Cuonzo Martin has brought in this year. Will all the pieces fit when adversity hits? Every coach is concerned about it right now. And at some point, Missouri's going to hit that adversity. And how does this team hang together? There he is. There he is.
Have yourself a night, Kevin Puryear with 15.
He's probably lost about 10 to 15 pounds. He told me about 3 weeks ago is in the best fighting shape of his life. You trust his voice, you trust his effort. One of the better talkers on the defensive end.
And they tap that one to a teammate into the hands of Geis, gliding in the front court. Open three on the way, yes! Missouri is living right. Jordan Barnett on a tray. He's got 12, and the lead is 21. Beverly with a silencer.
Like the offensive spacing of Missouri tonight has been really, really good in the transition game and the half court. They've kept that 15, 16-foot buffer from player to player. Look at them right now, just not on top of each other. They have been so good. I've been very impressed with their spacing in transition and their running with a purpose. Cuonzo Martin has seen a lot of good things from his team. Like last year, Missouri was number 332 in the nation as a three-point shooting club, 30%. Tonight in this ball game, they're shooting 50%. It all has to do with spacing. A great job in transition to rim run, have some gravity about you in terms of attracting the defense, and Puryear fills in nicely from behind and gets the bench into it. But then just the very next play, the ball goes from 1/3 of the floor to the other third of the floor. Again, the defense gets attracted to it. You make the skip pass and a wide open three. Missouri now has 9 out of 18 in this ball game. And you see the shooting difference from last year to this year. They're not going to continue to be a 50% three-point shooting team all season long. They're also not going to continue to be a 30% three-point shooting team like they were last year. They have more weapons that can shoot that basketball. Robertson's one of them. Porter Jr. on the bench, who hasn't played tonight's one of them. And their spacing and ball movement has been outstanding so far through the first 16 minutes.
Why don't we split the difference and settle for 35% from downtown?
Well,
that would make them pretty lethal, right?
Yes, it would. Yes, it really would. But they have a nice inside out. You know, you can throw that ball inside now with Tillman, and you know the defense has to respect him with double teams. He's a very good post passer. Puryear can pass it well out of the post. And again, I go back to what I said in the first half. The quality of my shot versus the quality of your shot. Missouri has won that battle tonight.
And Iowa State has really found it hard to get a good look. This is not a good look. It's a desperation heave, but an offensive rebound. There's Jonte Porter. And there's a three set up on the offensive rebound for Jordan Barnett, who has 15.
They keep knocking down 50% of the threes in this ball game. They miss one and they make one. Boy, if Barnett can just keep a fire lit under his rear end all season long, he's going to be a heck of a player for Missouri. He can do a lot of things.
Largest lead for the Tigers, 22 points. And
finally,
that will cut in. Trust us, folks, Donovan Jackson is a great shooter. He just hasn't shown it tonight.
He's now 1 for 8, 1 out of 3 in this ball game from 3. It'll be very difficult for Iowa State to get to 70 points on any night without Donovan Jackson getting his 18 to 20. He has to be that type of a guy for Steve Prohm all year long.
He was a 45% three-point shooter last year, one of the best marks for a single season in the history of Iowa State basketball. And you're talking about guys like Fred Hoiberg and Jeff Hornacek, some pretty good shooters that have rolled through Ames, Iowa. Double team coming on the baseline. Spin move and a foul drawn. That is the kind of move we're talking about, Jimmy. Jeremiah Tillman does not play 6'10", 250. Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern time. You know you'll be watching SEC Nation. They're on the road. Where else? Auburn, Alabama, as #1 Georgia takes on the Auburn Tigers. Break down everything from the gridiron to the grill in week 11. How about that move by Tillman?
Well, we were talking about 23 in white right there with the SEC logo. And when you go to double team a post player like Iowa State has done on Tillman, you can't let him get out of it. And twice in the second half, he's been able to spin baseline right out of the double team. There's no reason to do it.
Another desperation three by Geist.
Missouri fans have not gotten to see Michael Porter Jr. like they wanted to, but I tell you what, they've gotten to see what Missouri basketball is going to be about going forward.
They haven't needed them tonight. And everybody else has brought their A game to the table.
And Mike, what have they seen? They've seen a Missouri team that's committed to locking you down on the defensive end with great defensive principles. They've got an anchor around the rim with Tillman on both ends. I love this kid's spirit and how he plays the game and how he interacts with people, Jeremiah Tillman. Again, if you ask those Missouri Tigers right now, who's the best teammate, the freshman from East St. Louis is going to win with a unanimous voice.
Iowa State in danger of losing by more than 15 for the first time in 117 games. They've been a model of consistency.
Travel.
And the turnovers have plagued Iowa State tonight. Another one there. Shooting has been off. Better days ahead for that man, head coach Steve Prohm. I think some good days ahead for this Missouri squad and Cuonzo Martin. The last time we saw Cuonzo in the Southeastern Conference, he was leading Tennessee to the Sweet 16. That team had one Jarnell Stokes on it leading the way. His brother Isaiah is now with the Florida Gators, very talented freshman. I remember that team that he had at Tennessee. They were big and powerful, but they were not as talented as this Missouri team.
No, they're not. You're exactly right. I was just going to say the same thing. And you know, the overall size of Missouri, the length has bothered Iowa State at times in this game, taking up passing lanes with their wingspan, their ability to run the floor in space. They've done a lot of good things for an opening ball game.
A rare miss from three for Missouri tonight. Three on the way, and that's what we thought we'd see more of, the silky smooth Donovan Jackson.
Yeah, the first 7 shots he took in this game were hard shots. Missouri was right in his jersey, and he's gotten free a couple of times. Interesting, he told me this afternoon at shoot-around, he said, I love this gym, it's a shooter's gym, and he's exactly right. The lighting in Mizzou Arena and the fact that the fans are close to you with a shooter's background, a very good shooting basketball arena.
Another bucket for Puryear. He's got 17. And a rebound by Barnett. And Missouri will bleed some clock here as we reach near the 1 minute mark. A convincing victory will be had for Missouri and put the SEC on notice. Mizzou basketball is back.
Mike, they've done it without Michael Porter Jr. For those who are just now watching this, he tried to start the game, played the first 2 minutes, and has not played a minute since. Kind of irritated a hip or a lower back injury that he's been battling for the last couple of weeks, and they set him down. They actually tried to take him out of the starting lineup, but it was too late when they came back out of the locker room after pregame warm-ups. To play this well without Michael Porter Jr. even being a factor, I think is a huge thing for Missouri. We've talked about it for the last 2 hours. They are more than this kid. And this kid is terrific, and he has a chance to be the #1 pick in the next NBA draft. That is a long, long ways away. I'm not sure who he can guard right now at that level, because he's not going to be able to chase around a 3, and he's not physical enough to defend a 4. That's for a whole nother ballgame and a whole nother conversation. This Missouri club right now is picked in the top 4 or 5 in the SEC, and I don't see anything tonight that tells me anything different than that's where they're going to finish.
Yeah, if anything, I've come away with an even better impression of some of the things we were concerned about. How would they gel? How would the chemistry be?
Yeah, guard play.
Guard play.
Held up very well.
It's all been good tonight. And that's a chance for 3 the hard way for Zoran Talley, one of the few highlights tonight for Iowa State. Well, Mizzou has got some more stiff challenges coming up. They'll be in Orlando. I'm looking forward to being down there again. In fact, I'll have the call of a couple Mizzou games, including that opener against Long Beach State. That'll be on ESPN2. The tournament starts on Thanksgiving, November the 23rd. Another good field. And we'll see how Missouri does against some good competition. West Virginia, who lost convincingly tonight to Texas A&M. Another big win for the Southeastern Conference out of conference, will be in that field of 8. And if you haven't seen UCF yet, they got a player that is 7'6".
Taco Fall.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the SEC wants to get 6-7 teams in that NCAA tournament this year. You've got to win games like Texas A&M did tonight against West Virginia. That's a quality win. And what a start from Missouri tonight, huh? First sellout in over 4 years, and Mizzou Arena was treated to what Missouri basketball is going to look like going forward. Tough man-to-man defense. Move that basketball and play your tail off. Well done, Missouri Tigers.
Fans got their money's worth tonight. A convincing victory from start to finish. Missouri led this game throughout and wind up with a 74-59 victory as the Tigers 1-0 on this young college basketball season. Challenging games ahead out of conference, and of course the SEC slate will begin in late December. It wasn't just the freshmen tonight, that highly talented, heralded class. They got great production out of Kevin Puryear, the junior, who led all scorers with 17 points. He was 6 of 7 from the field. He had 8 rebounds. Great from start to finish. And it was Jeremiah Tillman, the freshman, not one of the Porter brothers, who kind of led the way from a freshman standpoint. He had 14.7 rebounds, 7 of 9 from the field.
Well, you got a little bit of everything. Everybody contributed on the offensive end. Defensively, you go back and grade this film for Cuonzo Martin. He's going to be very pleased with the ability to keep Iowa State out of the paint, because that's what Iowa State came in wanting to do, and they deleted the drive very well.
Cuonzo Martin standing by with our own Myron Metcalf.
Coach, you come into this building, sellout crowd. What did it feel like just to be a part of this atmosphere and to get the win here?
Oh, it felt great. I mean, it's great for our fans, great for the community, great for the state of Missouri. I felt like I heard November the 10th since I took the job, man. I'm excited for our guys, excited for our fans. But this is what it's about. It's a tremendous amount of energy and passion.
Your star, Michael Porter Jr., only played a couple of minutes, but you still pull off a double-digit win. What does that say about this team and its resilience?
I think our guys are hungry, and I think our fans are excited. So we benefited off a lot of that energy, that passion, but we still got ways to go. But I thought they fought, and I thought they played hard.
What, if any, concerns do you have about Michael Porter Jr.'s injury and whether or not it's going to be something that affects him long term?
I don't think it'll affect him long term, but we'll wait and see. But just he felt like his legs, so we just want to make sure he's okay. That's the most important thing for us.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats.
Myron, thank you. 74-59, your final score here from the Missouri Arena. For Jimmy Dykes, Myron Metcalf, and our entire crew, Mike Morgan saying so long and good night from Columbia. SEC Now is coming up next.